Finishing up the field, it's Kike Boris-Cortez for kids to win in the 2:38. VDK's Eli Goldstein of Belgium in the 2:98. Thanapongpang Satumnu in the Super Windforce RT number 2:10. And at the back of the field, it's the former Toyota F1 tester, Dimes Racing Team, the Dutchman in the 3:03. It's Henke Waldschmidt. 34 drivers at the top of their game, and with less than a minute to go, we're going to find out which of these drivers will be crowned the ultimate winner here in the IAME X30 Euro Series. It's going to be one heck of a final. 34 drivers. We started with 79 and less than half of them remain. So now it's time to see who will be crowned the first winner of the European Series here at the Circuit International de Salbris, the first of 4 weekends that will crown our next IAME X30 European champion. The first final of the season is going to give us some great talking points and will give one person a massive smile. 18 laps of the circuit on the board, and it's the race that everybody wants to see. They're clamoring for vantage points around the circuit as we go racing in the IAME X30 Senior X30 Final. What a battle this is set to be. Kimber, Pruteau, Van Pelt, Curl, Ravenscroft, Van Splunteren, Fleming, Malizia, Saval, Bayet, Brown-Nutley, Pico, Pilka, Giraud, Massero, Godefroid, Porter, Morin, Liedmar, Vava, Turney, Butcher, Platten, Shelley, Bunshu, Moya, Kulen, Ruvers, Donich, Rundqvist, Boris-Cortez, Goldstein, Satumnu, and Waldschmidt. 34 of the best senior karters on the planet. They have come from all 6 corners of the globe, and it is an absolutely amazing spectacle before us. Kimber and Pruteau on the front row, Rens Van Pelt and Clayton Ravenscroft to the inside line. Just in behind them, we have Danny Curl and Joey Van Splunteren on the outside line. The Senior X30 Final, probably one of the most anticipated races of the entire weekend. We have already crowned 3 winners. In the X30 Minis, it's Alejandro Melendez. In the X30 Super Shifter, it is Stendorian Piramagi. In the X30 Juniors, it is Lewis Gilbert. But who is going to be the winner in this final? We have a Spaniard, an Estonian, and a Brit. Is there going to be another famous name at the top of the Senior X30 podium? We will find out very soon indeed. So as the drivers get themselves ready for battle, it is going to be one heck of a day at the office in the final 18 laps around the Circuit International de Salbris. We've had 32 races over the course of the weekend. This is the final hurrah, and this is a big one. Any one of the drivers in the top 10 on the starting grid could emerge as our race winner, and all of them have a right to get there. Mark Kimber, Camille Pruteau, Rens Van Pelt, Danny Curl, Clayton Ravenscroft, Joey Van Splunteren, Thomas Fleming, Arnaud Melizia, Carlos Saval, and Owen Bayet. There's even a few outside the top who could break their way through. Don't count out Jordan Brown-Nutley from the 6th row of the grid on the inside line. Joe Turney's on the inside line as well on the 11th row. There's certainly some talent in the mid-pack as well, in the likes of Sim Liedmar, Vincent Marceau, William Godefroid, Danny Bunshu, who is right up the top in qualifying, don't forget, is down in the 13th row. And then we've got the likes of Camille Donich and Patrick Rundqvist trying to fight their way through. Eli Goldstein from the 16th row of the grid is going to have a big mission, but we know he's fast around here. And then on the back row of the grid, we've got 2 guys who definitely shouldn't be there in terms of speed. Thanapongpang Satumnu, who's the 10th seed for this season from Thailand. And then the Dutchman ex-F1 test driver for Toyota, Henke Waldschmidt, is going to be there as well. So they're going to build up the speed. It looks like a perfect start. The lights are on. They're going to go out, and we're going to be racing. Avanti! And it's a brilliant start for Kimber. Pruteau's going to get some help from Danny Curl through the first corner, but all 3 of the top 3 are remaining relatively in position. Danny Curl's going to try and fight back around the outside. He tucks in for position. Camille Pruteau has lost out to Danny Curl off the start. It's Kimber who leads. Rens Van Pelt and Danny Curl from Pruteau and Ravenscroft, with Joey Van Splunteren there in 6th position. Cracking start as they run down to turn 6, and the rest of the field squabbles for supremacy through turn 6. The battle is raging, and amazing racing in the early stages. But out in front, it looks like Mark Kimber has got things under his own steam at the moment. Rens Van Pelt trying to close up on him, the Belgian, and there's some great tussling for positions just outside the top 3. Joey Van Splunteren having a little look at Camille Pruteau there as they work their way through the S's. Mark Kimber's in the lead, and up to second comes Danny Curl. Danny Curl makes the move. Ravenscroft's at the front of the next queue as well. He's got past Camille Pretot. So there's a lot of jostling for position as drivers are working their way through the field, but Kimber leads, Curl second, Pretot third. Van Pelt third, sorry. Then it's Ravenscroft, Pretot, Van Splunteren, Saval, Fleming, Pico up in 9th, and Jordan Brown-Nutley's made his way to 10th. Pilker is 11th, Porter is 12th, then it's Liedmar, Moyer, Owen Bayet, Anzo Giraud, William Godefroid, then Hans Morin, Etienne Chilly, and Vincent Marcereau. But Mark Kimber leads away. Second position, Danny Curl trying to break down the deadlock. If anybody's going to catch him in a straight fight, it's Danny Curl. The world champion, don't forget. Danny Curl in second place, trying to chase him down in the first of the European Championship rounds at IAME X30. And we've had a little flick of the dust up at turn 9, up at 10. But it looks as though we're A-okay. I don't think we've lost anybody from the fray just yet. Kimber leads, Curl second, Van Pelt third, Ravenscroft, Pretot, Van Splunteren, and Carlos Saval. Then it is the 2-2-4 of Tom Fleming in front of Nico Pico. Jordan Brown-Nutley is 10th from Porter, Pilker, Liedmar, and Bayet. Kimber out in front on a 61.679, trying to get away from Danny Curl, and I think he's got himself a lead that he may never lose. So Kimber leads at the moment. Danny Curl fights his way to second, but he's still a long way back from the man in the lead, Mark Kimber. But if anybody knows how to catch down that gap and decimate it, it is Danny Curl. So Danny Curl is immediately trying to decimate that 1.1 second gap. Van Pelt is another 8/10 back, and Ravenscroft has got him. Ravenscroft is through into third place. Pretot tried to take advantage. He wasn't close enough, but Ravenscroft has made it an all-British podium at the moment. So it's looking like the Union flag is going to fly 3 times on the Senior X30 podium at the moment, just as it did a few weeks ago in Valencia. But Kimber, Curl, and Ravenscroft is the order. 4th is Van Pelt, 5th is Pretot, 6th is Van Splunteren, then it's Carlos Saval, 8th is Fleming from Pico, Brown-Nutley, Porter, and Pilker. Pico's got past Tom Fleming, so up into 8th place he goes. Jordan Brown-Nutley still 10th in front of Morgan Porter and Sim Liedmar, the Estonian. And there's a bit of a jostle as Pretot makes the move on Van Pelt, and so too does Joey Van Splunteren. Rens Van Pelt is down to 6th. Kimber continues to pull away out front. 61.597. It looks as though he's going to dominate at the way things currently are. He's still pulling away from the rest of the field on lap 4 of 18. Lots of battling in the mid-pack, a couple of jostles for position, and a few drivers having to sort themselves out. Camille Pretot in 4th now, ahead of Van Splunteren and Van Pelt. Van Pelt has made the move back past, Van Pelt, has lost the place, I should say, to Carlos Saval. So Carlos Saval now into the top 6. Van Pelt is struggling to hold off the attentions of the next man in, and that is Nicolas Pico. Nicolas Pico makes the move on Van Pelt. So Kimber leads, Curl is second, Ravenscroft is third. There's 1.5 seconds between Kimber and Curl, and another 1.5 between Curl and Ravenscroft. Ravenscroft is trying to get away from Pretot. But the top 3 look like they're breaking clear. Kimber, another new fastest lap, 61.549. Absolutely amazing from the 3 Brits out front who are just charging away. I thought it was going to be a bit closer than this, but Kimber is making mincemeat of the opposition. So the Strawberry Racing ace won at Salbris last year, 12 months ago, and it looks like he's going to do it again. Second place, Danny Curl. Kimber's just marching on. The gap opens up again to 1.7. Curl is second. Ravenscroft is third. 4th is Pretot. Van Splunteren and Carlos Saval come next. 7th place for Nicolas Pico. Rens Van Pelt. Sim Liedmar is trying to get onto terms with them as well, having got past Jordan Brown-Nutley. That's a very interesting gap between the top 3. 1.7. Kimber pulls away from Danny Curl, but interestingly, Ravenscroft is closing in on Danny Curl. And as a result of that, Ravenscroft is taking the rest of the field with him. Oh, and there's a contact. There's been a collision into the marshal's post further back. That looks like Arnold Milizia has come together there with one of the other drivers further back. So Milizia has dropped right out of contention there with a bit of a collision with another driver. Couldn't quite see who that was, unfortunately, but they dropped right the way back. So that is Malizia way down out of the top 20. That promotes Joe Turney up the order. But out in front it is Mark Kimber, Danny Curl and Clayton Ravenscroft. Ravenscroft is closing in on Curl, but Danny Curl is actually still running in second place, losing time to Kimber, but being lost. He's been caught as well by Ravenscroft. Oh, and there's contact further back as well. That looked like Fleming trying to defend from Owen Byatt, and Byatt very nearly went over the top of him. Is that Byatt? No, Byatt's already gone well clear of them. Sorry, it's the 219. So the 219 having some difficulty getting through there. That's Hans Morin nearly going over the top of Tom Fleming. Great battles in the early stages of proceedings. And we are coming up to the halfway mark. We are 1/3 of the way through, 6 down, 12 to go. And for Mark Kimber, it's looking plain sailing. He's just pulling away from Danny Curl. Ravenscroft in third. Fourth is Prateau from Van Splunteren, Carlos Saval, Nicolas Pico, Rens van Pelt, Sim Liedmar and Jordan Brown-Nutley in the top 10. Owen Byatt is 11th from Moyer, Porter, Fleming, Morin. Then we have Danny Bunshu in front of Vincent Marceau, William Godefroy, Joe Turney up to 19th, and Max Pilker is in 20th place. So across the line again, Kimber looks strong, Danny Curl is next, Ravenscroft's trying to get the gap down. The gap is up to 2 seconds, would you believe, between Kimber and Curl. That is astonishing. The senior X30 grid, quite a long way out in front. Absolutely amazing positions now. But it looks to me as though it's just going to continue getting better from here on in. Terrific racing, an absolutely magnificent battle. And we've got a kart slowing. Not sure who that was, we've got a difficulty. So somebody has fallen down the order, but Kimber and Curl, 2.1 seconds down the field. And I think we have lost Henke Waldschmidt from the field. So the Dutchman Waldschmidt, I think, has retired from the race, which is a real shame, actually. He was already struggling, and the Dutchman ends up in the pits. So now Kimber leads by just over 2.2 seconds. Ravenscroft is only a second back, but he's got the rest of the field coming with him. Now Ravenscroft might be able to get to second place if he keeps these guys coming with him. Prateau, Van Splunteren and Carlos Saval not too far away. Up the inside, that's a late challenge from Joey Van Splunteren. And I'm not sure Camille Prateau realised he was coming. Carlos Saval's trying to get there as well. He dives late, and that is a move on Camille Prateau. So Carlos Saval gets into 5th position. That was very late, it has to be said. And now Camille Prateau wants blood, he wants to come back at him. But Carlos Saval neatly tucks through. Nicolas Pico in 7th place will not be too far away. Then Sim Liedmar, Rens van Pelt, Jordan Brown-Nutley, Owen Byatt, Morgan Porter. Then Moyer, Morin, Fleming, Bunshu, Marceau, Godefroy, Turney and Varva now up into the top 20. But Mark Kimber is still the man in front. The gap is opening up, would you believe, to 2.4 seconds. It's absolutely unprecedented. Mark Kimber is dominating the final in a completely different league to the rest of the field. Danny Curl in second. Ravenscroft is catching him with assistance from Joey Van Splunteren. Here comes Camille Prateau on the inside of Carlos Saval, and he gets through. So Camille Prateau up into 5th place once more on the Spaniard. Local knowledge definitely helping it too. So who else is moving forward? Well, Owen Byatt is trying to make one move on Jordan Brown-Nutley. Pico is 7th from Liedmar, Van Pelt, Brown-Nutley, Byatt, Porter, Moyer, Morin, Fleming's come up. It looks like Vincent Marceau's just made the move on Danny Bunshu. So the Swiss has dropped to 17th in front of Joe Turney. He has an opportunity on the inside line from Joey Van Splunteren, and he makes light work of Clayton Ravenscroft on the exit there into 11. So Joey Van Splunteren, the Dutchman, 4th in last year's European Championship, now finds his way past Clayton Ravenscroft. Plenty of time, it's still not done yet, but the Dutchman gets into 3rd position at exactly the right moment. Kimber still going strong, out in the lead for Strawberry Racing and Great Britain. Danny Curl 2nd, Van Splunteren now to 3rd in front of Ravenscroft. But Clayton Ravenscroft will not say die, it's not done yet. Prateau in 5th, Saval, Pico, Liedmar, Van Pelt is down to 9th in front of Jordan Brown-Nutley. So plenty of great racing still to come because we've got 8 laps to go, including this one. Kimber is a long way in front of Curl, but now working together, Van Splinteren and Ravenscroft are starting to reel in Danny Curl in second place. It's going to take them a while to get there because the gap is a second, but they are pushing hard, trying to bring him in. 5th place, Camille Proteau, Carlos Saval in 6th, then Pico, Liedmar, Van Pelt, Owen Byatt, Jordan Brown-Nutley and Morgan Porter. Liedmar makes the move on the inside of Nicolas Pico into 14 and gets the move done. And further back, there's a move as well for Tom Fleming as he makes the move on Ruben Moyer. So Fleming is up to 14th place, gets the move on Ruben Moyer as they come across the line. He has now got a couple of tenths of a second on him. But Joey Van Splinteren getting some assistance from Clayton Ravenscroft as they battle over 3rd. 7 to go. Mark Kimber out in front. 2nd, Danny Curl trying to get closer, but the gap is massive now, 2.6 seconds. Meanwhile, Van Splinteren and Ravenscroft are now within a second of Danny Curl. So has the HTP kart driver got enough in the tank to hold them off? Further back, we've got some tasty battles. Some good racing all the way through this field, to be fair. That is Ruben Moyer trying to get back on terms with Tom Fleming, who has got himself up into 14th place. But Porter and Morin are having a good tussle just a little further up the road. Kimber's lead is now 2.7 on Danny Curl. Can you believe he's this dominant? Mark Kimber just disappearing. There he goes through turn 1. 2.7 clear of Danny Curl. Joey Van Splinteren's got Clayton Ravenscroft right underneath him, but they're working together. They feel that second position could happen. Van Splinteren goes a little deep into 2, cuts back across for 3 and 4. Now he's going to get the inside line for 5 again. And they've got to hurry up because Proteau and Saval are still quite close. Proteau has set the fastest lap, a 61.4. Not that the man in the lead needs to worry about that. Mark Kimber doesn't need to set the fastest lap. He's got 2.8 seconds on the field. And we've got somebody having pulled off the circuit. That is Thomas Fleming. Thomas Fleming is out at turn 15. What a disaster for Tom Fleming. He is out of the race in the BMR karts. He's pulled off the circuit just off the exit of 15. And it's all game over for the BMR driver. What a shame. He was running so beautifully and having some great racing there. He worked hard. He was picking off drivers one by one. But Fleming is out. There he is. What a shame. Doing such a good job. Kimber is your leader. Curl is second. 9/10 of a second back is Van Splinteren with Ravenscroft and Proteau very close together now. And Carlos Saval in 6th position. So Joey Van Splinteren needs to start the cavalry charge up towards Danny Curl. They are now 9/10 of a second behind him. But Mark Kimber is looking very strong indeed. He is the Kimi Räikkönen of British karting, Mark Kimber. Doesn't say an awful lot, but is very, very quick in the kart. And that's why he's pulling away. 2.8 seconds from Danny Curl. 8/10 of a second only now in front of Joey Van Splinteren. And it looks like a change of position. Is that Proteau past Ravenscroft? I think Camille Proteau has decided it's the move. No, it's Saval on Proteau. So Carlos Saval makes the move on Camille Proteau. Mark Kimber still leading. There's Danny Curl. There is Joey Van Splinteren and Ravenscroft chased by Saval and Proteau. So first looks like it's done and dusted with 4 laps to go. But second place might not be done yet. Van Splinteren, with support from Ravenscroft, Saval and Proteau, are desperately trying to catch him. So Mark Kimber continues to lead. This is masterful from Mark Kimber. Just like last year when he took victory at Salbris. He clearly loves this circuit. He seems to gel with it beautifully, and it looks as though the job is going to get done in similar fashion to what we saw last year. Danny Curl, the back end stepping out big time into turn 6 as he power slides through. I wonder if he's having difficulties with his tyres here because he's really struggling to keep on top of this. Van Splinteren is now only half a second back. Meanwhile, Clayton Ravenscroft is struggling. He's having difficulties keeping Carlos Saval behind him. Has he got a problem himself now? Because Clayton Ravenscroft is really struggling to hold off Saval. In fact, he's going to get forced wide by Saval. Saval punts him wide. So Ravenscroft now drops behind Proteau. Saval and Proteau have got past Ravenscroft. I'm not sure Ravenscroft's going to be on the podium today. I think he's got a problem emerging. Proteau now goes on the inside of Saval. And Proteau gets through to 4th. Meanwhile, Joey Van Splinteren is within a few tenths of a second now of Danny Curl in second. So Danny Curl in second place. He's looking likely to have a great charge here from Joey Van Splinteren. Kimber continues to lead with 3 to go. But I think it's all going to be a tough one for second place. Danny Curl desperately trying to hang on from Joey Van Splinteren. Have his tyres gone off? And now Clayton Ravenscroft is struggling to hold off Sim Liedmar. Liedmar goes through and takes 6th position off Ravenscroft. I wonder if he's got problems now. He's fought valiantly as Ravenscroft. Valencia was his. I'm not sure it's going to go his way here at Salbris, but he will be back fighting hard at Marienborg for sure. And he has done a brilliant job. Only one man has beaten Mark Kimber over the course of the weekend, and that is Clayton Ravenscroft. Yes, Carlos Saval's been given a warning flag for his move on Ravenscroft, and I'm not at all surprised, really. That was a very severe nudge. Joey Van Splinteren on the back of Danny Curl. Second place is about to open up. Can Joey Van Splinteren get one over on Danny Curl? And look back, we've got Camille Pretot and Carlos Saval fighting for 4th position. It's a 3-way scrap for 6th as well, with Sim Liedmar, Clayton Ravenscroft and Owen Byatt having a great battle for 6th place. Round the outside, Saval's going to try and keep Pretot honest. They come together. Oh, that was close. Somehow they both managed to get away from it, but I think Saval's got damage. So the 4th place battle is going to be Camille Pretot and Carlos Saval limping back up to speed. But they just about get away with that as we enter the final lap shortly. Mark Kimber has a massive lead, 3.1 seconds over Danny Curl and Joey Van Splinteren, who have only got one more lap to challenge each other for second. Here comes Mark Kimber pour le dernier tour, one more lap. Mark Kimber here at the Circuit International de Salbris is about to rewrite history and repeat himself. 2017, he won at Salbris. 2018, he's going to win at Salbris if he just keeps it together. The kart is running fine. He's running beautifully. No issues at all for the moment. And Ravenscroft has lost a few more places, I'm afraid to say. It looks like Pico has got through side by side. Curl and Van Splinteren for second position. Curl hangs onto the inside line. This is getting very heads up as now Danny Curl is doing every trick in the book to keep Van Splinteren at bay. There's going to be one final lap of dicey between these two as the Dutchman has another crack at Danny Curl. Curl hangs on. Van Splinteren trying to overhaul him into 13, but a corner up the road. Mark Kimber is going to get the victory. And I think Danny Curl's done enough to defend second. So out of the final turn, Mark Kimber is going to do it again. 12 months on, he wins once more at Salbris. Second place for Danny Curl, just in front of Joey Van Splinteren. Camille Pretot hangs on for 4th place. It's 5th for Sim Liedmar in the end, in front of Carlos Saval, Owen Byatt, Clayton Ravenscroft, Nicolas Pico and Hans Morin. From Jordan Brown Nutley, Morgan Porter, Rens Van Pelt, Ruben Moyer, Joe Turney in 15th, Danny Bunchu, Vincent Marceau, William Godefroid, Philippe Vava, and Eli Goldstein comes home in 20th place ahead of Pilka, Giraud, Ruvers, Harry Platten, Boris Cotes, Malizia, Donic, Satumnu, Kulan, Shilly, and Butcher. We lost Rundqvist, Fleming, and Waldschmidt in the end. But what a race for Mark Kimber. 12 months after he was victorious in fine style, he comes back to Salbris and does it again. Well, Strawberry Racing will be delighted with that. 4 different teams on the top of the dais and 4 very talented racing drivers. We have now crowned our 4 drivers winners here at Salbris for the first round of the official IAME X30 European Series. And it's 4 very talented racers. Alejandro Melendez, Sten Dorian Perimagi, Lewis Gilbert, and now it is Mark Kimber. A fantastic victory for Mark Kimber, and he starts his Senior X30 Championship title campaign in glorious fashion.